Well, all right, all right, all right. I think it's working. I don't know if you guys are gonna have to log back in. Let me turn my webcam on. Boom. There we go. All right, I got a green light over here. I don't know what was going on. YouTube was saying it couldn't process my requests. I had to restart OBS twice. Nah. But looks like we're working. I can see it on that screen. So, got some of you guys back. There we go. Thanks for your patience, guys. I'm not sure what was going on with that. Can hear me? Yay! Yay, I don't need this. Wow, and I was trying to get this done before Aluna goes live at 9 o'clock tonight. So much for that idea. So, how's everybody feeling? Thanks, guys. I had all my boxes checked. I don't know, YouTube wasn't cooperating with me this time. Seems like there's always something. Right? So who's here still? Who do I got here still? Hi Ryan, thanks for having patience and waiting with me, coaching me on. How are you guys feeling? Made a bunch of notes. It's almost like, where do I even start? I had a super awesome conversation with Travis, my new friend Travis, who's been watching me on Unbiased on the Fence for a while and sent me an email. So I just had a 2-hour conversation with him today, and it was fantastic. He sent me an amazing email. So enjoyed that conversation. I'm looking forward to many others, and I'm definitely going to be sharing a lot of this information that we were talking about with you guys, which is really about the transformation into light body. And you know, what that really means, and how real will that be, and those possibilities, and what we may experience, and when, and what that timeline may look like, and why. So I'm really looking forward to discussing that topic a lot more. I'll see if he's going to come on, but we'll sort that out. I'll definitely be looking into how to present these different ideas to you guys more, because it's pretty exciting stuff, and I think that we're really seeing a lot of those changes physically. And as Travis and I were talking about, we really think that a lot of these changes will become very visible for other people to see, so that they can also see that what is possible. A lot of these things that we experience can be so, you know, a lot of people don't believe it till they see it, kind of thing. And that's the question, is how much is going to be seen? At what point will it tip over so that people will start to see evidence of real physical changes as far as the, you know, the crystalline light body form, and how that may really propel things forward for the masses. It worked! Yay! Okay, so you guys see my little zombie guy? I can't change progress in little steps, okay? Because I didn't want a zombie. Somehow I have to figure out how to change the little icons. Okay, so I got the little icons to come up there and show when somebody subscribes, this and that. But yeah, let's see if I can get the chat box to work here too. I'd had that on earlier. Here we go. Okay, it's working. And I can put that back up as well. So what do you guys think? Take a look at my new screen. Look, 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 because I made it all myself. I did the whole little imagination warrior thing on top, and I put the rainbows, and I found the picture, and I cut it just right, and then I made the little thing on the bottom. And so definitely progressing artistically with setting up the layout of things, and how to do these layers, and how to make things work. So just waiting on the microphone. It's on the way. I'm so excited. Diana showed me the the little order slip, like it should be here anytime. I don't know if this postal strike we have going on affects me getting this microphone or not, but probably not because it's Canadian Post. But I've been waiting for another package in the mail that my good friend knows all about. And then we just realized today, I'm like, why is this not here yet? I'm like going cuckoo waiting for it. And then realized, is there like a postal strike or something going on? Right? Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rainbow Warrior. You like it? And I'm like, is there like some kind of postal strike? And sure enough, we look it up. And there is. Because I watch so little news. I didn't realize. And I'm like, wow. The Postal Service, I don't know what to say about this. Really, it's like you're a dying breed. You're becoming less and less used. Only like more and more the Canadian Postal Service, regular post, is just junk mail. It's just crap. You're putting unwanted, unrequested paper constantly in my mailbox that I'm having to recycle that I did not ask for, that you don't even read, that's just a massive waste and whatever. But it seems to be pretty much the only thing that it's used for. Most people like use FedEx and UPS and different things like that for any kind of packages. I think we've gotten used to it. It's like, who even uses Canada Post anymore except for kids mailing their Santa letters at this time of year? I'm like, you assholes, you really want to build sympathy for whatever your union problems are? I'm like, I don't know what they're screaming about. I don't know what they're getting mad about. We have a pretty high minimum wage in this country. Make sure your working conditions are safe. But, if it's a dying business, really. So, if the employees are mad that their jobs are disappearing, I don't know. Go apply at UPS maybe or something, or FedEx or one of the other companies. Because it seems to me the Canada Post is a dying business. So wasting time and just frustrating more people with having another postal strike seems pretty stupid to me, really. Mind you, I'm a little ticked that I'm not getting my package, but talk about the worst time of the year to do it. I don't think you're building anybody's confidence in your business, which is already dying when you're pulling a strike at this time of the year. Not too bright as far as I'm concerned. So, how are we doing? Unfortunately, I put the screen. Let's see. I might have to. Maybe if I do this. Let's see. This way I thought, oh my gosh, I can actually read. So, who we got here tonight? I'll probably have to pull up the bigger one actually because this is pretty small, right? But I don't want to take up the whole screen with the chat. I could blow it up bigger, but we'll worry about that another time. So there's lots to talk about. Where should I even start? Where do I even start? Notes, and more notes. So, ding dong, the deep state king is dead. I don't know how nauseating it is for any Americans if you're getting inundated with sentimental news, fake news about the evil king of lizards, but it's definitely nauseating. So I'll pull up some Q stuff because there's some new posts there I want to take a look at. I'm probably not going to be on for too long tonight because we're getting a little later. Of course, it cut right into my time here, but that's okay. We'll be back again. Lord knows I tend to ramble on as it is. So pardon me guys, I had to shut everything down to get it all working again. So now I've got to open up my my Evernote. Sounds like I'm echoing a little bit. Let's try making sure everything else is turned off. Make sure my sound is off here. Okay, we're good there. All right. So let me take a look at the chat. You feel terrible? Why do you feel terrible? Right? See what everybody's saying. Yeah, okay. Wilcock isn't, in my view, trustworthy. You know what? I don't trust anybody totally completely. You never know till you really know, right? It's not that I don't trust. I just don't pin everything on it. I take it in, but recognize all possibilities. Just recognize all possibilities. So that way, if something turns out not to be true, it doesn't crack your world. It doesn't ruin everything for you and ruin your experience. So it's good to just kind of take everything in and process it yourself and go from there, right? Another one bites well. The king. King is dead. All right, so we're looking good. Right. Here's my Evernote to pull that baby up. So I'll pull my display capture up for you guys shortly. And where should we start? Why don't we, why don't we start with this? Because I was gonna talk more about D5, right? December 5th. I can hear that I'm echoing. I can't wait to get this microphone in. It's just, I know if I adjust this, check my audio properties here, because I think if I just go to mute, I'll just go with that. All right, because I want to get down to business. I wasted enough time messing around with settings. The microphone is on the way, guys. It's on the way. Be here any day. So we'll just have to have patience a little bit longer, right? Appreciate all the patience that you guys have had with this. I think I missed a lot of viewers for this evening, but that's okay. So let me pull up the trusty Q maps, and then I'm going to open up my display screen for you guys. We can take a look at that together, because there was some new Q posts today, and one of them I thought was really interesting, especially in regards to JFK Jr. Oh yeah, which is really fun. So let's do this. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that chat box for now. I think I'll have to do something a little more. I'm not crazy about this chat box here and how this is working right now. So we'll work on that one step at a time, right? And let's make this a little bigger here. Let's move this over. All right. There we go. Okay, how's that, guys? Does that work for you? Let's go wander together. So I think once I get that microphone too, what I'm going to do is sort of, as I go through I'll still do a couple of the lives a week. They're just so bloody stressful, honestly. I mean, not that it's stressful talking with you guys live, but it's just the setup and everything is so stressful. Just seems like there's always glitches. But so what I'm going to do as far as putting together, these news ideas with you guys, like a little more quickly and consistently, because I go through this every day. I'm figuring once I get the microphone in, I'm just going to, as I go through stuff, record it, and then I'll be able to condense, edit, and put that out quickly to you. And then, we can, when I do the lives, we can go over this different information as well. So here's the Q post. Yeah, you guys can see this. Okay, that's good. That's good. Do. Okay. All right. You know what I wanted to show you? So these just came out today, right? December 3rd. This just came out, And this I found really exciting. So this is a link on Q, post 2554. Let's go check it out. And then I'm going to show you why I think it's exciting. Make sure you can hear this. Sorry. I gotta make sure that you guys can hear it. I gotta turn on my desktop audio. I'm gonna turn off my mic then while I play this, okay? So I don't hopefully get too much reverberation.
Captain, they're only boys.
We listened to you. We believed you.
They're much more than that, sir.
And we are still...
The ship beneath you is not a toy, and sailing's not a game.
So why the hell do it?
Bill's character, Mr. Preston, of which you are in desperately short supply.
They came from different places.
And this Ocean Academy isn't recognized as accredited.
It'll be a good thing, Dad.
They sailed for different reasons.
I don't want to be what I was when I left.
There you go.
Anonymous.
But there was only one way
We'll do it together.
I can't.
Climb!
to survive on his ship.
I will challenge them, and they will come together.
Become a team.
Where we go one, we go all.
Because where he was taking them
What are they doing?
Claiming their place in the world.
could not be measured in miles. They thought they had survived the greatest challenge of their lives.
We had come through every kind of seas imaginable.
Except a white squall.
But it was only
White squalls are a phenomenon of the imagination.
the calm
What happened to my ship was not imagined.
before the storm. Largo Entertainment presents a film about loyalty,
Where we go one,
We go all.
discovery,
But we're a crew. That's what this whole thing is about.
and courage.
Don't you walk out of this, Skipper. You don't.
Captain, they're only boys.
We listened to you. We believed you.
they're much more than that, sir.
And we are still here.
Jeff Bridges in a Ridley Scott film. White Squall, based on a true story.
Okay. I know the picture like you guys can go take a look at the link for yourself. It's the trailer for White Squall, right? But obviously you caught a lot of the key words there. If you were listening, you caught a lot of the keys through that. Why am I so excited about that? Obviously it's cool where we go on, we go out. There was the storm, all those different lead-ins. But what struck out to me is if we go back to JFK Jr. Oh, and I had this all pulled up too. This is what intrigued me, was JFK Jr.'s passion for sailing from a child. Look at these. So this again leads me back, because this is a pretty known fact regarding him. So I just thought it was really interesting, again, tie-in to the fact that quite possibly, seriously, look at this guy. Honest to goodness. Honest to goodness, he was something else. So, but it was in the family, right? To me, Kennedy's love of sailing, right? Just saying, throwing that out there. So, yeah, where did you get the inspiration for all these terms? And the whole movie's about sailing. So I just think, pretty cool, right, guys? What else have we got? So this I liked as well. Where was it? Oh, and I see it, and I'm missing Sean Hannon. This was the other reason I wanted to be done. I wanted to be done early, was to go take a look at that and see, but I'll go check it out after. But so this is the really interesting thing about the timing, right? So I think they held off on announcing his death, quite possibly. So let's see if I can pull it up and do. George. Oh, this is distracting me. Okay. So there's quite a few things as far as the numbers. I thought it set it aside. As far as the numerology of George's death. He was so I can remember a few of the things off the top of my head. He was the 41st president. It's all the numbers. So I pulled up the video. I'll see if I can find it again. But in the fact that it was the 11th month and the 30th day. And he's the 41st president. So if you add 30 and you add 11, then you get 41. But that was just the whole start of it. And the numerical, anyways, tie-ins regarding the President of the United States, the 41st President of the United States, his name, and the dates all tie in. There was comments in regards to him possibly dying earlier. And again, let's do this. And I thought I had set it aside. A text message or a tweet about Benji dying. Mom, where are you? She'd saved this one for me. So it's quite possible. It's quite possible that he died beforehand and they held on to it to play this card based on the fact that they know with everything that's coming up this week, because the schedule has now changed. When you go to this link here, right? So postponed. Well played, Deep State. Please allow us to counter. I can't wait to see how they do. You just know when you say it like that. It's like they knew that they were going to do this. They were prepared for it. So, but you can see if you go to we've got the postponements. So basically, I think that they held on to the Big Evil Lizard's announcement of his passing in order to lay this card now and to postpone what it is that was going to go on this week, which I was pretty excited about. And I'd been putting together notes because really what I was seeing was hopefully a really big unraveling with the Clinton Foundation and the exposing of what that foundation actually really does. The trick is, or the question is, how much will it expose? So I'm going to go over that on Wednesday. I've been working all the notes for that in reference to what it is that the Clinton Foundation is really doing wrong. And it's not just about the pay to play. So there's the idea that donations are received by donors, which would then get them into like how Hillary got her emails found out. So it was basically a pay to play. You donate and it would allow you to go in there. But there's also a whole other side of it, and it's the trafficking side, which is very trackable. So anyways, what I'm going to put together for Wednesday is a real breakdown on what it is exactly the Clinton Foundation is all about, where their money comes from, and what it is they really do, which is far more about trafficking really than anything else. So that needs to be exposed. How much is going to come out, though? And this is the question: how much is going to come out to light in regards to this? You know, when I was talking more recently to Captain Roy D from Reddit, in regards to this, and in regards to putting the Clintons in jail, and how much will come out, he did remind me of a valuable story, which was that of Al Capone, who it did get put away just for tax fraud, I think. He didn't get put away for all the murders and all the terrible, you know, vicious things that he did, but he did get put away. So this is really the question, is how much will actually come out in regards to them. But, and how much, you know, will they just basically, you know, go to jail on charges of how, you know, they take their money, or will it go all the way? Will it go all the way into the trafficking? I'm not sure if it will, or if it's just something we have to expose for ourselves. You know, when I think of Bush Sr. dying recently, and I think of, let me show you this thing too. This is Uma. This is interesting, how sick Hillary is, how much she may even last in order to see actual, what we would consider justice for what she has really done, because it's pretty nasty stuff. So I'm going to get into it with, hopefully without having to be too nasty on Wednesday, but the question is, you know, I think all will come to light and all will be known. But it seems to me, you know, you've got McCain dead, you've got Bush Sr. dead, you've got Hillary, which is just, I don't know, apparently, we'll see what Uma says here. I think this is worth watching to kind of give you an idea. So again, give me a second.
Text below is given in case above is hard to read. Also, supply the name.
I'm going to see if I can read this, because this is really weird the way they did this. Let's see if I can bring this up. There we go. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can read this for you guys, because otherwise it's just listening to this text thing that doesn't make sense. Okay, so This is on September 3rd, 2016 at 8:57 p.m. And this is from Uma Abedin at yahoo.com wrote, "Sorry for my late reply, Hassan. Yes, let me tell you about her. The woman is so odd, so starved for validation, so tormented and vain, it is a constant surprise to me anyone takes her seriously. Everyone on the team knows how unwell she is, but they're more determined than ever to see her win. This woman, who has a dozen seizures a day, we've seen those seizures many times, this godless, shrieking malcontent, passed out in her medical van, this walking cadaver. She's non-functional, Hassan. Nobody cares. We sober her up for speeches and indulge the press corps with cheap sentiment. The first female president, the last glass ceiling, etc. They trip over themselves lining up behind her. Surely they know it's not her they're getting. It's the one in the corner, the quiet helper, your sister, Uma. You asked me once how I did it. How did I take the castle? Hassan, I didn't take it. They gave it to me. Yes, there was a cost, I will admit, subjecting myself to men like A.W., that's Weiner, and WJC, so that's Bill, is mortal torture. But I do it gladly, brother, everything they ask of me, however sick and depraved. I do it, and I smile, rejoicing at the thought of whose glory I serve. Just thought I wanted to share that with you guys. So, it tells you where Uma's coming from. Now, apparently there is on Weiner's laptop, he is in prison now, and there is evidence, which I do hope comes out, of Uma and Hillary doing some very terrible things. Of course, nobody wants to see those terrible things, but it's important that it comes to light. We need to shed light on these things that they've gotten away with doing so they can be accountable. The thing is, will they be accountable while they live? This is the question now. This woman's being propped up on medication and everything else. So I question even how much Hillary will last. I'm wondering, will we see sort of the same thing in regards to what happened with Bush Sr.? Hopefully they'll get... I'm hopefully they're getting the George Jr. because considering of 9/11, will they pay for that? So I hope that comes out. But so it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. I think the date is the 11th, December 11th, maybe for the full accounting of what could be happening. Yeah, he should have kept his Weiner. But see, that's their problem. That's all their problem in the first place, isn't it? They didn't keep their Weiners to themselves. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's interesting and a thought in regards to whether or not she's actually even going to last that long. I question it. So we did that. What else can we talk about today? This was really cool. Do you guys want to check this out with me? We've talked about sun simulators. This one's pretty wild. Did I turn my mic off? Okay. Still. Alright, so this, I was making notes on this all day. I'm absolutely fascinated. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I'm going to do, I'm definitely going to do a bigger thing on this because I've been drawing out, trying to figure out how this thing actually works. But actual footage! Boom! Take a look at this, guys.
Everyone. This is Nibiru Watcher. It is December 1st, 2018, and I have a very, very, very special treat for you today, and it is one of the actual leaked video footage of one of the components of the Sun Simulator. So before we show you this leaked footage, let me show you the piece that is under high speculation and conspiracy and all that fun stuff. This sun simulator disc is exactly what we believe is in the sky. Just exactly how it was put there. Well, we're putting the pieces together, and I got 2 or 3 huge pieces that have been very mysterious. Strange sun just looking so weird, and let's just get into it. It's very surprising and it's amazing as well. So this picture here, we capture these images from the FAA camera. We saw this. We've seen this all over the internet and Google Pictures. I caught that on the FAA cameras. So without any further delay, let's look at that leaked footage. So this is Donnie from Daytona. I'm so glad we're all on the same team here. Leaked footage. Now, I had to mute him because my theory is a little different than his, but I think this is going to be great. So, there it is, the sun simulator, the forward-facing light panels, the xenon or mercury lamp lights, floating in space, and there they are on. Now, some may already say, you know, if this is CGI, I guarantee it's not CGI. This thing is real, and if it's not the sun simulator creating this huge light, almost 20 feet across, 25 feet, there it is on. See it against its giant. Look at this. So if that's not the sun simulator floating in space, leaks from the International Space Station, then where is it being used? Down on the ground? And we can see this thing off. So let me fast forward just a little bit. If you want to see the full video review, you can go back. I will leave links from Donnie of Daytona's YouTube channel. We're all working together to figure this out, and here is an amazing piece of the puzzle. Wow. And there it is. There's only a couple of components we There it is, the sun simulator, the forward-facing light panels, the xenon or mercury lamp lights, floating in space, and there they are on. Now, some may already say, you know, if this is CGI, I guarantee it's not CGI. This thing is real, and if it's not the sun simulator creating this huge light, almost 20 feet across, 25 feet, there it is on. See it against its giant. Look at this. So if that's not the sun simulator floating in space, leaks from the International Space Station, then where is it being used? Down on the ground? And we can see this thing off. So let me fast forward just a little bit. If you want to see the full video review, you can go back. I will leave links from Donnie of Daytona's YouTube channel. We're all working together to figure this out, and here is an amazing piece of the puzzle. Wow. And there it is. There's only a couple of components we haven't seen. It's the parabolic reflector dishes. I like to catch that. So look at this thing, right? And it's really amazing. I'm going to speed this up because actually it is sped up. A really stunning footage. The power of this thing is coming from remote power supplies. There are not solar cells in the back. At no one time we even see light other than the ones emitting this. The light source is being powered. Look at that though, okay? So we can see the buildings. We hopefully get the original footage. Maybe there's some more footage from behind Donnie's face here. So let's jump into something else that's going to blow you away. Let's go back over the sun patent. And I'm going to touch on, look at this thing, right? And it's really amazing. I'm going to speed this up because actually it is sped up. A really stunning footage. The power of this thing is coming from remote
Toby.
power supplies. There are not solar cells in the back that no one time we even see light, other than the ones that.
It's just not my night. That's just buffering too much for you guys. I'm a little overdue anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna pull together some more information regarding that. That was a really great video. So I will I'll put that one down in the comments after if you do want to go check it out, because it was really cool. He goes through the schematics and I was actually really processing, and there's way more cool information in that video. That's what I want to say, besides just seeing that actual picture from the ISS of a sun simulator. He actually goes through the whole schematics, the patent for it, the testing process that they did, and explains actually how it works. So I was scribbling and drawing away on this all day, conceptualizing how it actually works, and starting to get there. So I really wanted to get that down pat, look at the schematics more, and maybe even draw some things out for you guys. Or in essence, what I was kind of thinking is, because I often draw while I think to explain these things. So I'm thinking of putting in a video when I do this. I have my drawing tablet, and I'm basically gonna, I think, draw some things out and how it works, and talk while I draw it out, edit in some pictures and some different things to see what you think. Now, listen, again, I'm not floating around up in space, so I don't know anything for sure, but I'm grasping the science behind how it works. One question I did have, and this is something to consider, because what I get with the cognitive dissonance of whether or not, like, when people are like, well, that's ridiculous, there couldn't be a sun simulator. When you look at the achievements of man, like they've wanted to go in space or land on the moon or do all these different things, my question would be, why is it so hard to believe that man would not strive to recreate the power of the sun? Right? When man has always looked around to the world around them, I would think that that would be something that they've been working on for hundreds of years. How do I recreate the sun? Why is it so hard to believe that they would not have developed the technology to do this? And I don't even think it's that difficult. With the satellites that they have floating, we're not talking about something that's way up in space. It's within a relatively short distance from us, considering. And to understand how it actually works, the concept of why would man not want to recreate the power of the sun or the appearance of the sun? Whether or not there was something wrong with our sun, I'm not even saying it's because there's something wrong with our sun. To me, it's just a question of, well, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't that be on the top of their list, creating sunlight or moonlight? I would think over the course of history that many people have considered, what happens if the sunlight disappears? Can I recreate sunlight? What about if there's a volcano that covers, a lot of the earth? Can we recreate light? I would think that these are questions that would have been happily attacked and challenged, and many people over the course of history striving to recreate the power of the sun. So I don't know why it's really such a hard thing to believe that man would want to emulate what the sun is capable of. Would seem like a pretty big, obvious, fat goal floating around in the sky to me. And I think, and again, it's not saying that our sun isn't there. It's not saying that just because there's a sun simulator that our sun isn't there. It's not saying that at all. It's just saying that there is a sun simulator in front of our sun that comes up and sort of follows it across the sky. And one of the reasons that there's so much heavy chemtrailing. But what I was able to do with the research that I'm doing on this and drawing this out, understanding how this piece of equipment actually works, is helping me now to understand the photographs of the light and how the rays of light are shaped and formed and why. So I'm really starting to grasp that. So I'm going to work on putting those pictures together. And that'll be one of the newer videos next coming up, I think, that I do in regards to how this works. And I really want to present that idea of why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't, I would think, you know, if man looked up and looked at the stars and wanted to travel, why would they not all also want to recreate the appearance of the sun or the power of the sun or the moon? I mean, they're already talking about putting the moon simulator up in China. Well, I believe there's possibly moon simulator too. I don't know. I mean, people pick up pictures of the moon, but then there's also weird light around it as well. So I'm not sure about the moon so much, but I definitely feel that there is something to do with this sun simulator idea. And the lensing that's going on and the patterns of light that creates and the beams of light that creates. And I'm beginning to understand, based on the actual structure, the patents and the design plan of a sun simulator that is patented, that is out there, and what a hyperbolic or hyperboloid revolution is, and what that means, and how it refracts, and magnifies light, and how that they are using that. So I'm going to put that together and present it to you guys too, to see what you think, just to try to get a better idea of how it actually works. So you can see this is not a big stretch of the imagination, certainly not a big stretch of the imagination to mankind. And I think it's a good possibility that it's been up, you know, they've been working on this, and it's been around, these ideas, for much longer than it appears. So what else have we got? What do you guys think? I don't know that it's necessarily falling for the kids, and I don't know that it's necessarily depressing. I just think it's not necessarily what you think it is. It's not always what everybody tells you it is, and that there's more to it. So it's not about assuming that everything's bad. It's just assuming that the story isn't quite what it's being told. But that I think that's where people get that cognitive dissonance regarding a sun simulator, because they're thinking that, in essence, well, you know, you're trying to say that that's not a real sun. We don't have a real sun anymore. It's not the case at all. It's just a brighter light. They've just put a flashlight in front of the light, basically, to shine in your eyes. And it helps to distract all the other things. It helps you not to see all the other things that are going on, and to realize that our sun is darker. It's not as bright as it used to be. And there's a lot of different reasons. There's so many reasons why they would do it, right? Why? But I think there's not, this is what we need to realize. It's not just one reason. I don't think that there's just one reason for chemtrails or one reason for a sun simulator. And I think that's why they were able to even cross so many boards, maybe, to convince secrecy in so many departments or levels, because they probably have an excuse for everybody. There's probably a different excuse for everybody. And I bet you not all the excuses even know about the other excuses. That's kind of the problem, you know? So you pacify, well, we're going to do it because of this. Okay, but then you're telling somebody else, okay, that we're going to do it because of this. But then not necessarily this knows about this, right? So they're getting permission maybe for governments over here for one reason, and maybe getting permission, you know, from scientific community or other governments or whatever it is for another reason. But they're really, it's both reasons. That's questionable as well, right? Because they can make the rest of us crazy. to make us sound crazy, out of the box thinker, because we're not drones, right? You know what? I'm not going to go, it really set me off today, like, in my thinking process of having all the technical difficulties. It kind of flustered me and a little later. So I'm not going to let this one run too long. I was planning on doing a lot more about the D5 with the Wednesday thing coming up, but it's not coming up. There has been a postponement about that. So I am definitely going to be working on that, much more information regarding the Clinton Foundation. So I'm going to put that set together for Wednesday. Hopefully no more tech issues, or I don't know, I'm pretty much at the point of almost giving up on lives, guys. I have to be honest, because of the buffering and tech issues. So I just feel like it's frustrating, and I'm not sure if it causes more frustration. I don't want to put people off watching my live streams because of the amount of technical difficulties. It's pretty self-defeating when I go to the the level of work and create things and spend the time doing it. Like, you can see with my screen I made and everything, and then to go actually do the live stream, and it's just nothing but tech problems. And this time it was YouTube kept telling me that it could not process my requests. I don't even know what that means. So I plugged in directly to the Ethernet. I pay for a very good and high speed internet. There's no reason for that. I made sure I'm not on Wi-Fi. I've made sure everything's clean on the dashboard. So it's a little frustrating. I didn't end up doing Fridays, I'll tell you, because the energy was so strong. It knocked me out. Knocked me right out. I had to sleep a lot on Friday. Hey guys. So I don't know. It's been a little discouraging. At least it's quiet now. What I want to read to you, though, let me get rid of this. I wanted to read this to you. My mom gave this to me ages ago, and I'm looking for a video to put it in, but it's popped out to me a couple times today, so I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's something that you can relate to. It's by Henry Bergson. Fortunately, some are born with spiritual immune systems that sooner or later give rejection to the illusory worldview grafted upon them from birth through social conditioning. They begin sensing that something is amiss and start looking for answers. Inner knowledge and anomalous outer experiences show them a side of reality others are oblivious to, and so begins their journey of awakening. Each step of the journey is made by following the heart instead of following the crowd, and by choosing knowledge over the veils of ignorance. And so that's something I keep with me, and I've had with me for a while. My mom had found it before and had set it aside. She said that it always reminded her of me. And I imagine it's true for a lot of you as well too. And it's been a tricky thing, from going through the education system that we have and through an entire system that really sets you up for control. And this is, I think I'll close on this topic because it's one of the things that kept coming up in my mind today. And in this scenario, I call it a recurring topic, and how we really are, when we're plugged into the system, into the education system, and it's all, you sit in your desk and you put your hand up, and when you ask a question, you wait your turn, you stand in line, you speak when you're spoken to, you answer, everything's recited. You pass the test by regurgitating information. They train you very early. That's how you get a check mark. That's how you get a gold star. Can you recite verbatim what we told you? Can you follow the rules? That is the measure of success through the education system. Can you follow the rules? Can you wait in line? Can you sit in your desk? Can you only speak when you raise your hand and you're given permission to, right? Otherwise, bite your tongue, wait your turn. And the way to pass the tests is through just memorization and recitation. So it's eliminating all free thought. So we have that process. And they eliminated creative thought through the education system more and more and more every year. They reduced the budgets in music and art and all the creative hands-on things that people would like to do. So, you know, for people such as ourselves, you plug them in this desk and you become zombies. You really do. We need to thrive. We need to be working on something. We need to be asking those questions while we're knee deep in it. And I think that's what really encourages children to learn and gain mastery. How you gain mastery of anything is by starting very early. It doesn't happen overnight. Hardly any of us are born geniuses, you know, that we just know we're 5 years old and we just sit down the piano and we play like Mozart. That doesn't happen. But what does happen is a young child given their own devices and encouragement, proper, not the video games and the junk food and the shit life that they have now. It's either they're plugged in front of a TV or a video game or some kind of device to pacify them and keep them quiet, or they're plugged into the education system. There's no free thought, free-flowing thought going on. But if you were to encourage free floating, you know, thought within and creative thinking and pursuing what interests you, asking questions and finding the answers, and how do you find answers, and how do you work at something, or teaching the tenacity to actually perfect something, you would see children then be encouraged to delve into what draws them in, to practice what it is that they want to do. And what that would do is create so many masters at very specific, specialized things. Because if given the freedom from a very young age to pursue wholeheartedly whatever passion, whatever inspiration motivates them and moves them and compels them to practice and to immerse themselves in, well, what you would end up with was a world full of masters at a variety of things. But I don't think that they want that. They want conformists. They want you to stay in line and work this. We don't want you too smart. We just want you smart enough to operate the machinery. That's it. We don't want you too smart. And so that's part of what's gone on in that environment. And I think if there was a different way to do this with kids, and I think that I hope that this happens with the financial reset and all the other resets and the disclosure and everything else. I really hope that we can realize that it starts at ground zero with the education system with our children. Well, it starts at ground zero at home. And a lot of that's got to do with the diet and the media and everything put right in front of their faces to plug them in and keep them unresponsive, keep them zombied at an early age, right? So you don't have to take care of your kid. You can let your iPad take care of your kid for you. And listen, I know it sounds harsh, but after waitressing and serving tables for many, many years, that's the God's honest truth. It is the honest truth. I, over the years, saw younger and younger and younger, so you're at 1.5 years old and they're pacified at the table in a restaurant by an iPad. It sounds great. It's great, but they're not learning social skills. They're not noticing the environment around them. They're not learning from their parents. They're not learning social behaviors on how to even be in a restaurant. They're learning how to be quiet and be pacified and be plugged in to entertainment instead of actually being and participating in the world around them. So we have that. We go into this education system that's just basically recite what you're told and you'll get your gold stars. has removed all creative thought, has removed real hands-on work. You know, the trade schools, these different things where kids are allowed to really work and experience life hands-on with their hands, not in a classroom, not stuck at a desk 6 hours, you know, however many hours a day, and then send them home with all this homework as well. You know, I think one of the big things that really pushed my buttons, we'll say, with one of my daughters, my second daughter in the education system, I think she was about grade 3 or 4, whichever it was, and the artwork. I'm looking at all the artwork that's up on the walls around the classroom. Everything had words. Everything, the artwork all had to have like a whole description and everything with, there was no art for the sake of art. And I asked the teacher, I'm like, I don't understand, like, and she said everything's like that. I'm like, do they not create art just for the sake of creating art? Is nobody teaching them that a picture says 1,000 words? And how you can express your thoughts, not with words. So it was, you know, really I was annoyed by it at that point, and it really showed me that whoever's creating the plan, now I didn't see the bigger nefarious intentions of the whole thing at the time, but it was pretty apparent to me that whoever was creating the plans for our education system missed the bloody boat. And there's no room for different shapes and sizes of being special and having special interests in our education system, allowing real genius, entrepreneurs, real progressive thought, real changes to happen through the growth and evolution of the minds of our children. It's not happening through the education system. Then what occurs to me is, well, they go to college and university. Same thing, right? You're just reciting what the same bunch of garbage that they tell you is true, but whatever, you know, do we really even know that it's true? Who's to say? But this is where the credit becomes the next thing that I saw coming in. And this was one of the things I was talking to, when I was listening to Carrie's interview with Shane yesterday, and he was talking about, you know, paying debts, and I realized that really credit as a control. Now we know that, you know, they give you out all the free credit to sort of plug you in and draw you in, so you're stuck, you become a debt slave. But I also saw it as a different grading system as well, just like the education system, basically training people. So it wasn't just about creating debt slavery, it was also really another training program, right? Because you're training, so what I wrote down was like credit as control and training system. It locks you in and measures you based on your commitment to following its rules. You're measured a number on your compliance to its rules. And if you step out of line, or if you're late, or you're whatever it is, then we begin to get almost attacked on a reputation level. You're judged based on your credit score. You know, and I look at all these ads out there, well, you can check your credit score anytime you want. And again, it's the same thing. It's a measuring system, and it's your commitment to following the rules of that measurement that you are being trained to participate in the control system. So I made that note today, and I wanted to share it as well. So that was a couple of my thoughts today. What do you guys think? Hey, Mom's here. Had lots of technical difficulties. Mom, it was frustrating. Right, and that's a good, so Ryan brings up a good question. How many people can do their taxes, do a budget, and balance their checkbook? Why are they not teaching that in school? Why? It's a valid question. And I think it's because if you get a good handle on it, like you get a good handle on anything else, then you can manipulate the system. You can work above it. But if they keep us drowning in it, and keep us drowning in the debt and taxes and the credit and the mortgage and everything else, only know enough to keep treading water, but not enough to swim and get out of the pool, I think that's a valid question. Make sure you're obedient, right? That's right. It very much was, it was to create zombies. There's no creative thought at all anymore. It's just reciting, and how well you can follow their process. How well you can do things the way that they say is the measure of success. But I say their measure of success is bloody boring. There was, you know what, I'm going to go check one more thing. There was an email. I got to start doing this too. I'm pulling up some emails beforehand. I think I have a guest for Thursday. I think I have a Dream Share guest on Thursday. I'll let you guys know. Who was it? Oh yeah, by design. Susan, are you going to come on Thursday? I'm hoping if my microphone gets here. So I've been putting this off and putting it off for the microphone getting here. With all the problems, I'm almost wondering if we should record. If we can record a Dream Share. Okay, let me take a look at this. I wanted to answer this one. I'm going to get into answering more of these because I do get them. I get so distracted, so I feel like they've got a backlog that I have to... No, they don't teach cursive writing anymore. What happens if we lose all... What happens if we lose all electricity? Zoe, why don't you come up and say hi to everybody then? Oh, no, let me see. Okay, let me find this. Okay. I'm going to read this because I did want to answer it anyways. I'm going to start doing this a little bit more anyways. As much as possible with the live stream. So, hi Michelle. I was watching a video of Aluna Ashes and she mentioned something about on 12/21. We will be going back to the 2012 timeline. In my last email I sent you, I was just telling you what an intense year that was for me. Can you interpret what she means by this? Also, I was in a chat the other day and Nancy brought up David Icke saying archangels are bad. I know Archangel Michael and Gabriel are the only ones mentioned and considered good in the Bible, but might be an interesting discussion of what the archangels are and who are the other ones like Raphael, etc. Good. I'll leave the rest of that. But those were a couple questions. So you know what? This is really. So I'll tell you, the first part of this email. I'm really putting this over. It's one of the conversations that I was having today when I was talking with Travis as well, is about this recycling around of this 2012 timeline. What exactly does this mean? Now, I'm hoping that Aluna puts out some more information in regards to this, but I do know these, like December, January, February, and March, I almost feel like anything could happen. I really think we've cycled back around. And if I look at the energy from 2 years ago, February, March, what that did for me, for last year, February, March, what that did for me, we're talking about upping the ante each time. So I really do see for myself coming up and do expect some big transitions at that time. But I think that even going through, I think once we get the first week of December out of the way, it's going to wash out whatever we're working through, I think, in November. And then really going to accelerate through very quickly. I think we'll all see how quickly through to the end of the year. That's always going to be, I noticed a lot of nostalgia coming up. I'm going to talk about it more on Sheen's show because I've really noticed this element of nostalgia coming up again. And so I know that we'll be going through that. So I think what we can expect, over the course of the next few weeks is processing, finishing off this week, processing what we did go through. Because it's very physical. There's a lot. November was a lot, I think, for a lot of people. So hopefully we'll finish that purge out of these things. I think that a lot of people maybe experience, the physicality of the blocks in different areas, and that really needed to be addressed. And I know there was purging too. The energy's really pushing hard now, really pushing these things out. Hopefully, and I think the retrograde will be finishing too. So hopefully we'll be kind of putting that more difficult side behind for a lighter, sort of more nostalgic and the last few weeks of the year. And always, I think at that time, we're going to be taken back to look at the whole process. And I think that what may be coming up now for a lot of people, which I'm seeing, is looking at the cyclical nature of their life and the cycles and the cycle of our year, and what has occurred this year, what cycles have recycled through, what cycles have recycled through to be addressed differently and closed out, and where we are in our different cycles, really what we have progressed through the course of this year. And I'm anticipating an awareness going into next year on a larger scale, especially if you look at something even like the Q clock, a larger scale awareness of the cycles and how that works. And I think that we are locked into these cycles for a very long time, but the lock is being taken off, so we're really allowed to karmically move past these cycles we've been locked into. So I imagine that there'll be a lot of contemplation, could be nostalgia, could be remembering through the course of this year, through the course of your entire childhood, of really what those cycles are and how they have come back around, what we have progressed through, what we have learned through, going up into the end of the year. And I think that this question will unfold more. So I'm going to definitely be keeping it in mind, and I'll address it again the more I come to it, because it being the 12/21, the 2012, so I can see the numeric sense there. I'd like to see a little bit more from her, because I know she doesn't just pull it out of the top of her head. It could be astrological that she's addressing as well. So I know she's going to put out a little bit more info. So let's see what she says on that. I'm going to do some more, let the synchronicities unfold as they may. I kind of felt like I'm finishing off and closing out this week, whatever debris left from last month. And then it's really going to be an opening up, I think, an awareness of these cycles. What is the cycle that could be coming up? What are we powering up to? What is the cycle that we are going to be going into coming into February, March? I've also watched Shri and Kira today, and they were really talking about a big energy shift, the 31st, the December 31st going into January 1st. So I want to explore that a little bit more too. It's always going to be a pivotal time, and I think we're going to really feel that. But I really feel there's a launching pad here that we may be shooting off. And the power acceleration is really kicking in for these next 3 to 4 months. So how we may experience that is anybody's game. And then, of course, it is all an individual experience. So even no matter how much I was to speculate or intuitively guess on, and interpret experience, again, I would suggest to you all that you do your own internal research on that question, because what could be true for me in my experience and what I may experience could be completely different for you, in that we all do really experience these things in different ways. So I would say it's a great question to bring up. I think we should all start looking into it. I see that this question is going to come up in people's minds. What was it that happened in 2012? What happened? What did happen? Is this another gateway? Is this another opportunity? So we'll look at this a little more, and I'm going to keep tabs on this and see. As far as the question with the archangels, so she had mentioned David Icke saying archangels are bad. We're talking about energy. These are consciousness energy forms. and it's not so cut and dry as good and bad. I think that's coloring something black and white when you've got the whole colors of a rainbow. So that's my little thought on that. Energy can be used for a multitude of purposes. If you know how to harness an energy, it is simply then your intentions that can be used to direct it. How you choose to direct that may be judged good or bad. So, but at this point, I think that it is hard to just allocate such massive conscious energy sources as being good or bad. I think that's an easy thing to misinterpret. I can see how negative intentions can get access to powerful sources of energy in order to harness and manipulate that energy for their own nefarious intentions. But I also see that somebody of equally good and loving intentions can harness the same energy and use it for much better intentions. So that's kind of my philosophy on that. I really think it's got to do with the intentions behind it. I think, of course, archangels would not be, many of them not allow their intention, their energy to be used for certain intentions, but I think that there's an idea behind that and something to be said for that. Okay, so what do you guys think? I don't think they can be. And I think this black and white, this simple black and white could be, and it's not to say, like, I do think there's a satanic element here. I do believe that there is a in essence a greater etheric holy war going on. I do believe that, but I myself do not get, I don't work with a lot of different, I have a very select small few that I work with that I have built a relationship with through the time that I've spent and the commitment I put into it and the intentions I put into it, because I don't know the energy of all of them. I don't know the origin of all of these energy sources, so I do keep it restricted to what I feel comfortable with, which is Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, which took me some time to get comfortable with. Metatron also took me some time to get comfortable with, and I built that relationship with that through practice, through meditation, through prayer, and through practice, and built that relationship with that energy. So for me, I feel confident in knowing my own intentions and knowing the connection and the work that I put into it and the relationship that I built, that I feel safe, in the arms of those energy sources. But I certainly don't run around willy-nilly asking any old angel to help me. We'll say that. Okay, so again, it's intuitive, and it really is. These are good, valuable questions to ask. But don't worry about what David Icke says. He's got some great information. Doesn't mean you have to take all of it, right? He's got some good information, but it doesn't, maybe, and that's true in his reality. I don't know if it's true in yours. And that makes me question things as well, too. Oh, Sandy Hook, don't get me started. Sandy Hook wasn't even real. I've got pictures of all those kids 3 years later. All those kids on the Sandy Hook website that were shot and killed, and you've got 20 of them on a football field singing the national anthem about 3-4 years later. I'll pull that video up for you guys. I was talking to my mom about that one. Mom's been helping me with research lately. It's been a really big help. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for tonight, guys. Keep it a little simple. It's already 10 o'clock, so it got on later than I wanted.